Vibrant Moon, we are a boutique brand and digital marketing agency where we craft solutions that change the tide. And we work with brands who are willing to bring this change. So our expertise ranges from providing brand solutions to digital strategies and executing them through digital marketing tactics such as search marketing, social media marketing, your digital PR, email marketing, and so on. I believe most of us here today have attended the previous session in this transformation series on sales transformation via LinkedIn, Amazon sales, and creating industry disruption with digital marketing. And that these webinars have added tremendous value to you and your business already. So going forward, our today's topic, content marketing and strategy for B2B businesses, will help you further your course towards digital transformation. Now, most businesses, HODs, and managers that I meet, they have very similar questions, right? Where to start with B2B strategy, content marketing, uh, how to create content, what kind of content should I create? Do you really think this creating good content and using these tools will help me build, get good leads, or should I just run campaigns? No, aren't brochures enough because I have plenty of them? How can I make my content unique? We don't have resources. Can we automate this content process and so on, right? And these questions are correct. But what happens is most managers and businesses, they start with sales funnel, right? This is a typical B2B sales funnel. Now, decision makers, they start developing content and solution based on this funnel. While this is not wrong, this may not be the best way to start, right? Because funnel-based approach at the end are pretty linear. They focus on generating customers, but pay little or no importance to how those customers can help you bring and drive your business growth as well as revenue. Let's look at an example of John Doe. So he reckons that they should build a website to attract customers. Once they have website visitors, they will flag off with a blog on the website. And once a visitor fills the lead form, they will take the conversation offline. Now the website is built. Amazing. It's a beautiful website. Oh, how do I get my users? What kind of blogs will attract them? And which is the best platform I can talk to them about my website? How have I made a mistake? What if they do not like my content on the website? Oh God, what can I do now? How will my sales funnel perform? Did you see how John, though, started with excitement and feeling pathetic in the process? Well, because content without strategy is just stuff, right? Now this quote was coined in way back 2011 and 12 by by a content writer, by a content publisher, Arjun Basu in Canada. This still stands true today and will still stand true even in the coming times. Right. So here at Vibrant Moon, we highly recommend a customer-driven approach over sales funnel approach. Now, when this happens, right, to begin with this, we have to start asking questions ourselves that uh, questions that answer your bias questions, that helps you provide solution to your bias problem, that helps you understand and help your buyer to aid their buyer in decision making, and questions that help build trust with your buyer. If you don't offer any of this above, you can bet your website visitors will move to your competitors instead. So it's time to stop writing for your business and start solving for your customers' problem. And that's exactly what we are going to cover today. And before we do that, here are a couple of questions that will lay the foundation for a B2B content marketing strategy. The first one is, who are you creating content for? It's a very basic question, but it's a question when we ask often to our prospects and clients. For many of them, it's the first time they've really thought about it. Right? And some of them, they have answers. They say, yes, we have created for business leaders, marketing managers, technicians, engineers. Good enough. But few have gone about researching beyond this, about their customer base, and identify the challenges they encounter before creating the content strategy. So let's look at a buyer persona here, right? No matter, if I say I want to create a content for business leader managers, no matter how good you create content, At the end, if it doesn't, if it can fall wide of the mark, and if doesn't, and if it fails to resonate with your audience, no matter how much audience you reach, your engagement beyond that initial view will be negligible. So here's a sample buyer persona of a marketing person. Say I am a email marketing tool, and I want to work with. I want my tool to be used by all the companies, say all the financial companies. Right now, I need to understand who is my user. My user is someone who is going to execute using my tools. So they have to be executives, or deputy managers, or a lower managerial and mid managerial level people. So that age group is 25 to 34. I identify where are they present on social network, what are the job responsibilities, what is the preferred mode of communication, what are the tools they are using, what do they require to do their job successfully, and what are the measures they are being evaluated on. I need to understand their goals, I need to understand where they stand, and I need to understand their challenges. No, that's a buyer persona. It's not that I want to target a manager. No, it's about understanding them beyond being a manager. How can you solve a manager's problem is what you need to understand. That's bring us to question two. What are the problems you're trying to solve for them? Now, let me be very straight. Marketing is not about you or us. Marketing is about your brand, and also about helping your customers. Right? So when your content marketing should therefore focus on solving the business challenges that your customer has. They need to answer. They want answers, and they need help and advice. They don't want you to sell to them. So you need to educate your customers. You need to show them that you get what they are going through. Show them you can solve the challenges by doing so, you will quickly build trust. So ask again, what are the problems you're trying to solve? At the same time, remember this. Many companies they forget when they try to actually sell to people that they're trying to sell to people. Now, humans care about entire experience, not just the marketing or sales or service. To really win in the modern age, you must solve for humans. Now, that's a beautiful quote by co-founder at HubSpot. And at the end of, please realize that at the end of the day, no matter what content you're creating, you are talking to a human who is going to make a decision for you. Right? So now there are several more questions that are equally important, and we will cover them more in detail as we move towards building a customer journey. This is the most important part in today's discussion, where we are going to see how content, what kind of content will work at what stage in the customer journey, and what are the formats that you can use, what are the platforms that will help you use that format, and at the end of the day, metrics that you are going to use. Because metrics, you know every prospect we speak to at Vibrant Moon or even anywhere, if I discuss it with my friends also, everyone asks me the same thing. What about metrics? If I do this, if I create this content, what are the metrics that can prove me, that can tell me that, hey, my content is doing great? So metrics is also, so I've found a way to add metrics to this customer journey. Right? So your content strategy should be based on your customers. Your customers are, at the end, your marketers as well. They are your salespeople and advocates. What they say about your business in public or private has a dramatic impact on how you can generate new business opportunities. So you can turn to your existing customers for help creating high quality content, your middle and bottom level funnel content, such as case studies, reviews, testimonial, which will attract new businesses. Now, this will bring you more website visits, leads, and new business opportunity. So, how does the B2B journey work really? So, we'll see this now. Let's understand this journey stage by stage. Right. So, this is, we usually start with pre-awareness. I think most of the journeys start at awareness, but there are few who use pre-awareness because this is where I think you should start creating awareness first. You need to educate them, then they will consider you, evaluate you before taking a decision. And after they are a customer, you still need to deliver, you still need to communicate with them at an ongoing basis. So let's start with the first one, which is the pre-awareness stage. So at this stage, a prospect is unaware that they have a problem or challenge that needs solving. They aren't actively, searching for your solution, your company, or the solution that you provide. They might not even know that your business, your brand exists, right? So remember, at this stage your content needs to raise awareness, or not generate leads, not generate sales or opportunities, or onboard customers. It is just about getting your products, services, and solutions out there, ensuring that you are reaching out to right people and letting them know that your business exists. So that's about identifying them through tactics such as ABM, that's account based marketing, your digital PR, search marketing, social media marketing, and advertising. A few content formats that will help you here are digital news, your social media content, email marketing, and of course, search. Now, this is a matrix that will really help you understand that are people getting aware by whatever you are communicating with them. And engagement rate is the best metrics, much beyond your likes and comments and all. Right? It's an engagement that you are going to create, and the number of target accounts that you have connected with. Right? For example, say you have connected with 100 business leaders, so that's a good number to start with. So, if I want to give an example for this stage, I would say let's take an example of Podia. Now, Podia is a platform where you can build tools. They help you sell tools that will help you sell online courses, or get digital downloads, get subscriptions online, and more and beyond to your audience. Right. So, for any popular product, there's always a bunch of people who are unhappy or who want to compare alternatives. So one nice trick here, and this is an SEO trick, is creating a comparison page targeting your competitor name plus an alternative keyword search term. Now, the first area that your Podia excels is the volume. They have 37 such pages, and that brings them roughly 5,500 organic traffic monthly, just using this one simple strategy, right? So 37 competitor plus alternative pages. That really solves their business problem through content. So if they create this content, I mean, if you also create similar kind of content, it will help you bring a lot of awareness and bring a lot of website traffic. At this stage, you also use social media to show off your latest innovation, like GE does, even Cisco, for example. You show off your latest innovation, technology, launch some new products here. You can do all of that, and you can show off your latest work example. For example, here's a brand called Padam Interiors. Is a business that we work with. Now, they are a turnkey project manager, project management company. So this is an internet Instagram example, right? You use Instagram in a way that your business, your clients are also talking to you on the platform. And if you see the results speak for themselves here, the engagement rate is greater than 12%, which is beyond industry average. Your qualified leads via email, phone calls, and direct messages on Instagram is had shown 3%, 3x increase over the period of 6 months. And this is only organic reach and engagement I'm talking about. Nothing is paid here. So you see, even in B2B, Instagram really works if the content is done really well. Moving to the next stage, awareness. Now your goal here should be to get new contacts to like you. You need to create an emotional connection with them by providing great value. However, it's important to understand that your audience is most likely still not ready to make a purchase or talk to you, right? So this is still there here. Consider that as still discovering. They are still trying to understand about you, more about your industry, more about your business, and the things that will help you here is to rank on search engine, create smart content such as blogs, be present on paid search, because now they already know about you through pre-awareness. uh, do some email marketing, create some pillar pages, have some social media on, always on, right? So some short form content like blogs, have some creative, which is image, video, email, your posts and ads will really help you here. And these are a few platforms where Google is a search engine platform, the largest use search engine platform that we need to be present on. Your LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, other websites on internet, your website, your own website, email tools like Mailchimp and Zoho, and some metrics here to measure are number and quality of leads that you have, your CTA, your number, how many blog or newsletter subscribers do you have at this stage, how many website visitors do you have, and what is your social reach. Right? Now, if you ever want to build an e-commerce website today, Shopify will be the one platform you will already have in your consideration set. Now, thanks to the integrated multi-channel content approach, where they have optimized the reach of video marketing through Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Snapchat, oh, plus Twitter, yes. So they are providing informative and substantive video content to create awareness and help inform their audience. Now, that's the kind of awareness I'm talking about. You need to use the tools that are available to you, the tactics, and the content format that are available to you to create, to automatically get yourself in a consideration set. At this stage, you can also offer valuable advice like the Muse does on Instagram. Right? How to make better coffee, what to get better at doing coffee, how to get better at doing coffee, or help solve the problems like Airtable does. Give them what they want. Everyone wants to work with databases, and we all would agree. Right? Databases are messy. Now, Airtable shows them how beautifully they have solved their problem and made it easy for their users to work on databases. The next in the customer journey is education. So customers already been exposed to you. They have been already made aware what you do. They're already seeing you. Now you need to educate them. At this point, people will be gathering information about you. People will be making assumptions and some sort of I would say comments about you, saying that basically they're preparing themselves in to get the best possible solution for their problem. The customer may not be ready again at this stage, but what as a brand and marketer you need to do is you need to build 100% confidence for them to engage with you at this stage and beyond. Now, when researching, these tactics are the best bet that you have: organic search, your paid search, the blogging, even including guest blogging, social media, video marketing, live events and webinar, for example, that kind of we are doing today, lead nurturing programs, because now they have already entered your buying journey. You need to nurture them, you need to educate them, and you need to keep them moving ahead in this journey. Right? Your UGC will work very well here in the content format, your long format, such as case studies or show on your website, for example, the case study that you have on the website, a report that you may create. Send them emails, send them brochures, e-brochures. You can have a webinar on Zoom like we are having today. You can have a CRM like Salesforce, apart from your normal all other digital marketing platforms that we have already discussed. Important metrics here would be how many visitors are returning to you, how many visitors or how many say prospects are starting a conversation to you, say a chat conversation on website or WhatsApp. How many social shares does your content has? How many? What are the qualified number of leads? And again, your CTA and newsletter subscribers. You can also have a podcast, by the way, and recorded video. So Hootsuite does this very brilliantly. So Hootsuite does a great job of utilizing their LinkedIn page to share major company happenings. This company page has found a great balance of providing their audience with helpful tips, educational resources, trending discussions, and brand-specific content. So here you see an example, an announcement of Hootsuite CEO in a podcast conversation with the CEO of Royal Bank of Canada, where the two will discuss digital transformation for leaders and how they can prepare in these uncertain times today. This is very important. That's also, I think, what we are doing. We are discussing digital transformation in this time, how to use content marketing this time. So this is a platform where we all are educating, we all are understanding what we do, how can we benefit from content marketing. So this is exactly a similar example that we are today doing today. You can also provide a free trial or ebook to help your prospect know that you understand them, you understand their problem. Say if someone wants to do an SEO, so this is what Credo does: is they give you a free SEO lesson, how it works. Or on Instagram, we see Envision app here, who they are giving you an Insta brochure. So you don't, they are again using Instagram creatively to create your B2B content. The next in the customer journey would be consideration and evaluation. So now consider I am already educated about your business. Now I want to go ahead. I still want to, this is the stage where I am going to make a decision to buy or not in the next stage. Now here, the buyers are no longer thinking about alternatives, but they're actually thinking about looking at possible solutions or possible ways to engage with you, right? The buyer will look at several potential suppliers. They will evaluate your services against there. And at this stage, you must ensure to create and publish content that helps users to understand your products and services, help them to understand you better, your products and services better. The goal here should be to persuade the buyer to choose your product and services over others. So you have to show them that you are well ahead of the competition, show them that you can provide them with what they're looking for to solve their problem. And some of these can be using an influencer to do that. You can have some guest blockers. You need to nurture the lead again here. Reviews and advocacy will play a very important role. Your content publication like white papers, your testimonials, pricing comparison, product comparison. You need to do all of these here because they're going to evaluate your services and your products, your pricing. And these all these content uh, really need to come out in all the conversation across the platforms. Say email, if you're sending an email at this stage, you need to show them that how your products are better via an email. So that's what you have to do here. And important metrics here would be what is the lead score at this stage, what is the conversion rate that you see, what is your CTR on email and lead, uh, how many number of downloads do you have. For example, if you have a free PDF or a free download or a free trial, just understand how many people are taking a free trial, how many people are downloading your initial two-page research or two-page freebie that you are giving. Understand how many people are registering for your webinars. Also understand how many quotations are you sending, because that is a very important or interesting thing that many people don't really count. Because I think at the end you need to understand how many people are you sending quotation to, and how many of them are really converting after that. So see how Email Octopus here has created a nice detailed comparison on the left hand side with the market leader Mailchimp. They've almost got all the features and solutions compared to Mailchimp services. All this at nearly one third the cost of Mailchimp. Now, in other words, I can use Email Octopus's services for 3 months versus only 1 month service with Mailchimp. Now, this may not result in a sale for Email Octopus, but it sure does help their audience to consider them or even opt for a free trial at this stage. Now, on the right hand side, you see an experiential Nexa dealer conference where the branded content in form of lights, music, and design played a very important role for massive success of this event. Right? So, who says that content has to be only blog or website? Content can be in form of an experience conference, in form of light, music, a design that really expresses what you do and how you connect with your audience. Here are a couple of more examples. How to induce trials at this stage using social media. Now, what HubSpot does is it gives you a free CRM access for a couple of weeks, sometimes a month. Uh, Similarly, Autopilot. If you sign up using Google, you get free 30-day trial. Now that Autopilot, again, this is a very successful case study on Instagram. This is where people are going to decide whether to buy your service or not, right? At this stage, your potential customer starts to get buy-in from other key stakeholders or final decision maker. Now, understand. Now, we were earlier in this presentation, we discussed about uh, the marketing personnel, marketing Mary, marketing Mary, where she is a marketing manager who is going to use this email marketing tool. Now she has to, she might have made an emotional decision to work with you, but she still needs to go through formalities. She needs a go ahead from the HOD, the head of marketing. She needs to sign an inform. She need to make an informed decision by before signing on the dotted line, right? So that's where your role comes in. You need to support this person that you are talking to at your buyer's organization, because they will help you to get this deal done. Now, not only that, you have to win your prospect. Make sure that your purchase, your engagement process is as frictionless as possible to quickly close the deal. Some of the tactics beyond whatever we have discussed till now are advocacy, reference material, your training and coaching material, uh, process design. Of course, you need to already design your processes, and you need to communicate with them that this is how we perform, this is how we are going to engage, this is what is going to happen. You need to continuously communicate with them, because this is a very personal one-on-one communication is going to happen here. uh, at this stage, number of proposals, number of agreements you made, number of delivery process quality that we have put in process, these are very key matrix that you can have in place here. Now, MailChimp does it the best. These humanly video testimonials that you see here go a long way to confirm the superiority over their peers. Right? Probably this is the reason why even Mailchimp users pay 3 times more than the competitors, because they really take care of you as a customer. This again is how see how they use Instagram by letting their users know that behind their success are these beautiful humans, and whatever you need, they will have your problem solved. They're using Instagram highlights, this feature of Instagram very beautifully, where all these guys they are going to work with you when you sign up with Mailchimp. You know who you are talking to. You have a face. You know if I have a problem, who I can talk to. So that's how you use tools creatively, create content creatively. You need to showcase your expertise. You need to also be available for your customers wherever they go. That's what Zendesk does, right? So you can choose any channel you want, and Zendesk is available for you. The final stage in this customer journey. So for now, I'll just make a quick revision here. We have already seen pre-awareness, where you need to make sure you need to let users know that you exist. And in the awareness stage, you need to let them be aware of what you do, how you do, get them to the website and engage with them. Next is educate them. Uh, then you need to help them when they are making a decision. You need to provide them with comparison charts. You need to provide them with price content, all the content they need, white papers, etc., to make a decision. And finally, when they are making decision, you need to handhold them. You need to go through the ladder, the corporate ladder that they have, and help them to close the deal very smoothly. And once the deal is closed, we are here in the ongoing delivery, the last stage. Just because a prospect here has signed up with you as a customer doesn't mean you stop talking to them, or you can't market to them or sell to them. You can upsell to them. You still need to engage and communicate with them. You can upsell, cross sell. You can get referrals from them. uh, Now, a typical example here would be, say, a credit card. So, whenever you sign up on credit card, they will always ask you for referrals after some time. That's a classic example that can be brought to also B2B sales. Now, as they are working with you, your customers now, they already know you, hopefully, how great you are. So why not highlight that you can support them to other activities also? For example, if I am at a Vibrant Moon, we are, say, doing, for Padam's example that we saw, we are already providing them social media marketing. Why can't I tell them that, hey, we also create beautiful website. Would you like to redo your website? At any point in time, these are some websites that we have created. We need to constantly communicate with them. Now, whenever they need to make a website, they should have us in the mind. That's the whole. That's also an idea here, that we need to communicate with them at all the time. We need to also give them what's happening at your organization. You need to tell them that how you have gone ahead, even if someone what new processes you have started. Any communication, you need to communicate with them. Right? Now, God, for, just in case you are a listed company, you need to even more communicate with your shareholders. So all those communication, website, your email marketing, referral programs, the customer service, surveys, everything plays a very important role here. Now, say I take an example of GoDaddy. Now, I have a website which is, say, hosted on GoDaddy, for example. Now, if I have any problem in my hosting, I will go to GoDaddy FAQ. I need my solution to be present there. If my solution is not met there, and if I see someone else giving better problem solution to that, I might as well shift my domain somewhere else or my hosting somewhere else, right? So that's the kind of content that you need to create to even retain your customer. And at the end of the day, I think everyone here agrees that acquiring customer is much more expensive than retaining a customer. At this stage, you have to understand what is your customer lifetime value. You need to understand what is your net promoter score, the number of references each customer is giving, and what is the churn rate. No matter what, you need to make sure your audiences can find you. As an example of Eloqua. So after Eloqua was acquired by Oracle, they let the users know where to find them on digital platforms. Right now, it's a small thing, but it's so meaningful, right? Because I'm a follower, so there are 22,300 followers. Now suddenly, if Eloqua just disappears from my LinkedIn page, where do I look for them? I don't know what's happening. So they are already letting me know that for any more communication from us, you need to go to this page on Oracle. It's a brilliant. I mean, it's small but brilliant. Now, Optimizely here keeps a track of the customers or prospects. They have the prospects they have. Now they keep on communicating with them or targeting them through this communication time to time. Whenever they think that the customers are looking for redesigning or they have new development needs. That's a brilliant way to do. Another way on the right side, what we see here is an example that puts smiles on faces. I'm sure a few of you here would have already heard this story, but it's worth telling again for those who haven't. Right? So back in 1998, this email is back from 1998. So back in 1998, when CD Baby started, their order confirmation email was very regular that we have today, right? Your order has shipped. Thank you for your business, and these are your order details. Very standard. Everyone thinks, "Wow, I have done my job." But no, the founder Derek here was very unhappy with that kind of an email, with this generic email that feels odd at CD Baby's mission of putting smiles on faces. So he got along with his creative team, and this is a beautiful piece of email they created. Now this email explains that how your CD was gently created or was gently prepared, put on the shelves and sterilized, and then placed onto a satin pillow, right? And then 50 people inspected that, made it, packed it in a golden lined box, which is quite expensive. And all of these people celebrated before sending it out of the factory. Now, when it went, the whole team marched to the post office and couriered your CD, which will reach you on June 6th, right? And at the end, he's saying that I hope that you have had a wonderful time. We all are exhausted in making your product, but we don't. But we still wait for you to come back. Now, this is a very brilliant case study here because this is highly personalized. This is telling me that how this CD is so is made for me with so much care and love. Now, I would definitely come back to buy another CD from them. Uh, since we have some more time, I will take you through some couple of bonus case studies. I think we all love some case studies. But before that, I need to tell you that companies like to think that they're communicating enough. Like in the previous example, right? We know that when I send a thank you email when someone buys, I am doing enough. But no, are you? Sure, sometimes it feels like that. But say 20 minutes of creative writing can be far more effective, like we saw in this email creative, right? Or even in that PPC creative that we SEO creative that we saw, case study that we saw. Sorry. Now, here's another example where where creativity or strategy will play a very important role in getting you funding, right? Right, that's funding. So here's how a creative Google ad got an investor attention. Now there's this company called Database, that's data inverted Tada. So Database, what they are a no-code development company. Now they wanted Mark Suster. They only wanted Mark Suster to invest in them because he invested everywhere, but not in no code, and that's the goal that they have. Now they have been able. They were trying to reach him through various channels. All of them failed. So what came to this their rescue is good content strategy and having a one PPC ad for one keyword, which is Mark Suster. Now when Ryan Hoover, a media person, searched for Mark Suster, he immediately found this ad, right? And he tweeted to Mark Suster that this is brilliant, and this helped Mark Suster to get them to notice and see the product and see the Mark's tweet, love it, just checked out the website, and after this, you won't believe they had a few $1 billion investment. Now that's how your content can really help you. That's how a content strategy can help you get also investment. On the right, you see how one delicious birthday cake got Lemonade Insurance hundreds of new fans. Now, Lemonade Insurance just sent a happy birthday email, Andrew, happy birthday, Andrew email to their channel partner, Andrew. Now, Andrew was so happy because it's a personal email. The whole team is standing with a board saying that happy birthday, Andrew. He tweeted that, and that tweet was retweeted by New York Stock Exchange head of New York Stock Exchange, and because of that, he was sent a cake by Lemonade team, saying that this is not because of it, but because we love you. And now understand that New York Stock Exchange guy has 42,000 followers, and that helped Lemonade guys got hundreds of new followers. So you need to be human at the end of the day. No matter what business you are in, no matter what industry you are in, your content has to be human. You are talking to a human at the end of the day. So when this is the journey that we looked at, uh, most people still struggle to understand that how this is the journey understood, brilliant, but how do I reach to my audience? What is the best way to target and move my users through this journey? Let's have a brief look at this and understand, divide this now six, combine this uh, six stage of customer journey, combine this into three. All you have to do is raise awareness through first two stages, lift your brand recall and familiarity in the next two stages, and build community in the last stage. So when I say community, if you have 10 customers, all those 10 customers are your community. If you have 100 customers, all those 100 customers are your community. Even if they are prospect, they are your community at this stage. So how do you communicate with them? When you are raising awareness, you communicate one to many, right? You are talking to many. When you move to brand, and here your messaging should be differentiated. Even if you're talking to many, your messaging should differentiate your services. How do you stand different from your product, from your competitors, and why they should be with you when they move ahead and make a decision to buy to solve their problem. That's when you talk to similar kind of people from many to group. That's here your content will be contextualized. You need to have white papers. You need to have your product comparison, price comparison. You need to have a lot of videos, testimonials, all those places here, very, very contextualized. And at the end, you are talking to them one on one. Now you are dealing them personally. You need to have very, very individualized content here. this is a very simple breakup of the stages that we see. But you need to still go ahead with the content marketing strategy individually through stage by stage. There are some tools that you need to create, but see how your content moves from being static to dynamic as you move ahead in this journey, uh, from manual to automated, and from being paid content to now on your own channels like your website, blogs, social media, and others. Right? So these how your content journey is moving. Right? You are paying some money to pay to generate your inquiries earlier, but at the end of the day, you are not paying any money to third party. You have already created your own channels, and that's what you have to utilize. You have to utilize fully to get more business out of your clients or hire new clients. So that's what we have today in a B2B content marketing strategy. I'll just quickly summarize. You need to take content marketing from a customer driven approach, not a sales driven approach, a sales funnel approach. Because again, sales funnel approach, as we discussed, is a linear function versus customer driven approach where you understand your customer, you solve their problems, and that's when they are going to come to you, because you are helping them solve their business problems, you're helping them generate revenues. You are not only generating your revenues, but you are also helping someone else generate their revenues, which will in turn help you grow. So that's how your content will help you grow, and that's how you. These are the ways that you need to use. Understand which tactics to use. Understand which role, what the role are those tactics going to play, and which platforms do you use, using which kind of content.
Great. Ankit, that's about all the time we have today. Sincere thanks for making the time to be with us. This is a weekly feature. We will have our next session on Friday next week. You could find the details on my LinkedIn post, or I will mail you later today, tomorrow on next week's schedule. Thank you again, everybody, for being here. Have a wonderful weekend.